The much-anticipated talks between US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping have now concluded. They resulted in two major outcomes. China and the US have agreed to resume military communications. They have also decided to cooperate on anti-drug policies. The two leaders further called their 4-hour meeting on the sidelines of the APEC constructive and productive.
That's where I am. And, we're in a competitive relationship, China and the United States. But my responsibility is to make this rational and manageable, so it doesn't result in conflict. That's what I'm all about. That's what this is about.
China is ready to be a partner and friend of the United States. The fundamental principles that we follow in handling China-US relations are of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and a win-win cooperation.
We will start with the first development. The resumption of military consumption is huge in US-China ties. Both leaders have agreed to keep the lines of communication open, including talking to each other during times of crisis. Beijing had suspended communications after former US House Speaker visited Taiwan last year. The issue of Taiwan has been dubbed the most dangerous in US-China ties by Xi Jinping.
Sidelines of the G20.
During the talks with Biden, Xi stressed that his preference is for a peaceful reunification with Chinese claimed island of Taiwan. Xi did indicate that China is not preparing for a massive invasion of Taiwan, but he clearly told US President Joe Biden that he must stop arming Taiwan. Biden underlined the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Straits, but he reiterated that the US maintains its one China policy, under which it does not recognize Taiwan as a separate state from mainland China.
I reiterate what I've said since I've become president, what every previous president of late has said, that we maintain the agreement that there is a one China policy, and that I'm not going to change that. That's not going to change. And so that's about the extent to which we discussed it.
Biden also asked Xi to respect the upcoming elections in Taiwan. Taiwan will hold general elections next January. For more on the Xi-Biden discussion on Taiwan, we earlier spoke to our correspondent Jessica Stone. Listen in to her analysis of the situation.
President Xi, according to this official, claimed that he did not have any military preparations or planning underway to invade Taiwan. That runs completely counter to U.S. intelligence, which tells us that China is readying to be capable of invading Taiwan in 2027, just 3 years from now. So that was very striking to me. President Biden, according to the same official, outlined what the United States is doing and said, look, if you're not going to do it, why are you putting so many why are you being so assertive in the Taiwan Straits? Why are you sending sorties over the island of Taiwan? Why are you increasing the cadence of your military activity in the region? If you would stop that, you would probably calm tensions in the region who have an expectation that you're going to invade Taiwan. So that was an interesting exchange, according to this official. And of course, as always, President Biden in public and in private has to acknowledge that the White House is still maintaining the one China policy. Of course, both China and the United States interpret that differently, and that's usually where the dissonance comes on that issue. So that was of great interest to me as well, that President Xi would say that the military is not planning to invade Taiwan.
Moving on now to the second major outcome. This is the agreement on fentanyl. The powerful narcotic has fueled a drug crisis in the United States, and China has now agreed to curb its production massively. Now, this is not the first time that the US and China have agreed to cooperate on anti-drug policies. Such negotiations did start during the Obama administration, when China promised to block the potent drug from coming into America. However, the former president later accused Xi Jinping of failing to meet his promises to crack down on the drug. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani sends us this report from New York on the final outlook from President Biden's meeting with Xi Jinping in San Francisco. Take a look.
U.S. President Joe Biden met with China's Xi Jinping for more than 4 hours in California on Wednesday, and the atmospherics suggested a new era of bilateral good feelings. Both men have good reason to appear like they're getting along, at least on the surface. China's Xi wants foreign investment and export markets in a struggling economy. He also wants to prevent further U.S. sanctions against China and U.S. limits on the sale of technology to his country. President Biden wants to smooth relations and avoid another security crisis in a world that already has too many. He prefers to put China on ice, at least after the elections in 2024. And while China has made empty promises regarding fentanyl and the climate before, it may be Beijing's geopolitical ambitions that will ultimately continue to be a thorn in the side of the Biden White House.
Susan further elucidates how the U.S. will react to the key takeaways and deliverables for the Chinese president as he heads back home. Take a look at her analysis.
The messaging in the Chinese media regarding this meeting has been very positive, and that's something that's rare to see. However, Xi Jinping prefers the United States to step aside, move away from the Middle East and the Indo-Pacific. However, the Biden administration and the president himself continues to say that this is a relationship of competition, something that Xi is not very fond of. But aside from the meeting with President Biden, Xi Jinping also met with a group of business executives. And while at home, this will be important to showcase that he broke bread with investors, it's yet to be seen whether U.S. investors and businesses are eager to go back and work in China or not.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.